Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Jacob Cameron, and this is my review for the Royal Rumble, which took place on January 24th, 2016. This event was crazy. I can't wait to talk about it, so let's dive right in. So we first had the pre-show, which I didn't watch because I was watching House of Cards. No regrets. However, I did catch the highlights of the match. It was a four-way tag team match between the Ascension, the Dudleys, the team of Damien Sandow and Darren Young, and the team of Mark Henry and Jack Swagger, which the team of Henry and Swagger won when they pinned Victor of the Ascension off of the 3D from the Dudleys. Now, this match really I was thinking it didn't really mean anything, but then they told us that the match was to determine a spot in the Royal Rumble. The winning team would get a spot in the Royal Rumble, which I thought was a great concept. I personally would have put in a few more kind of more tag teams, like not necessarily just thrown together and put them out there, but that's another year for another time. I thought the concept was great. The execution was kind of okay. Like I said, I only saw the highlights, but that's all I have to say about that. So the first match on the card, this is the official show now, was Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose in a last man standing match for the Intercontinental title. This match was a great way to start off the pay-per-view. It set the pace just right. This was a very spot-heavy match, but I like spot-heavy matches. There were a lot of table spots too. There was actually a spot where there were two tables stacked up on top of each other, and I was like, "Oh, that's a shout out to the Public Enemy," do 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 do. but but Dean Ambrose ended up winning and retaining the Intercontinental title, and I'm thinking that his next opponent is going to be Jericho, Chris Jericho. But more on that as we go along. So the next match was the tag title match between the Usos and the New Day. Um, Xavier Woods hit an acid drop on one of the Usos, and I was like, "Ooh, shout out to Spike Dudley there." And New Day ended up winning when Big E caught one of the Usos in a catching big ending. That's right, a catching big ending. Big E is the best. He was the MVP of this match. He's got the best splash in the business. He's got the best spear to the outside in the business, and he's got the best catch finisher in the business today. Now, I'm not too big on the New Day. I personally think it's a little racist, but I can look past a crappy gimmick if they do well in the ring, and the New Day does really well in the ring. So, like I said, I can look past the gimmick if the wrestling is good, and the wrestling is really good in the part of the New Day. And as far as the Usos goes, I think they're getting kind of stale. They got that mega push maybe a little too early. Like 2014 was their year. They were the tag team of the year for 2014. And then they got tag team of the year for 2015. And one of them was out for half of the year, and the other brother was doing commentary for SmackDown. They were not tag team of the year. New Day was tag team of the year, but that's behind us. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, the Usos are getting a little stale for my taste. They may take a new direction with them later on down the road, but as for me, right now, they're just a little meh. Next up, we had a promo from the Wyatt family, which I thought was great. All four Wyatt family members, Harper, Rowan, Strowman, and Wyatt, they just understand their characters so well. Nobody is a supporting player. They are all stars. I wouldn't push them at the same time, however. I suppose they're going to do like a breakup. Like they tried to do it like late last year, and that blew up in their faces. But a breakup is imminent. And when they do it, they should do it slowly. They've got them all together now, and I think they're going to do a campaign with Lesnar, which I'll talk about later. But for right now, keep them together and keep them doing more stuff like this. So next up, we had Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio for the United States title in a match that I thought was going to be terrible. I mean, I didn't think Kalisto was going to do bad. I think Kalisto's great. It's just that Alberto Del Rio, I asked this, why is Alberto Del Rio even in the WWE in the first place? He was in Lucha Underground, And I remember watching that thinking, he is great. He's a great wrestler. He comes back here, he's in this same boring, rich Mexican aristocrat character, and it's not going anywhere. Yes, he's the US champion and all that, and yes, he did the Mex America thing, but that kind of fell off, and now he's in the boring ass League of Nations. So where has his character gone? Absolutely nowhere. So I ask this: why did Del Rio leave in the first place? And why did he come back? He had a great thing going in Lucha Underground, so why did he leave? That's another video for another time. But the star of this show was Kalisto. He worked his butt off tonight, and he deserved this win because he did win with the Salina del Sol. And Kalisto is on his way to big places, especially since he's now the US champion. I hope they do more stuff with him because he deserves it. Next up, we had the Divas title match between Charlotte and Becky Lynch, in which Charlotte ended up winning with shenanigans. And something happened in this match that made me think, ooh, Becky Lynch wants that Space Mountain. And I'm not talking about the Disney ride. Ric Flair he never gets old. Like, literally never gets old. But this feud between Becky Lynch and Charlotte, to me, feels a little rushed. Like, take for example, the rivalry between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. This rivalry between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins was great because they built it up. To me, it's like a crock pot. You've got all the ingredients in there, you put the lid on it, you set it to low, and you let it simmer. And you let the juices go and go and go until it reaches the serving time, and then it makes a nice little bowl of chili that everybody enjoys. This just feels like Hormel chili out of a can that you make in a microwave. The rivalry between Becky Lynch and Charlotte just feels really rushed. They're like, oh, they're from NXT, they're best friends, and now they're not. And where's the story other than that? It just completely doesn't make sense at all. But then, at the end of the match, we had the return of the boss, Sasha Banks, and she is now a face. She turned on Charlotte, hitting the backstabber and the bank statement. So I think at either Fastlane or WrestleMania, we're going to see Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, and I would have zero problem with that. And finally, we had the main event, which was the Royal Rumble match itself. Now, of course, Roman Reigns entered at number 1. Number 2 was Rusev with Lana. Lana made her return, which was great. But then, after that, the phenomenal AJ Styles made his debut in WWE. And there's been speculation out the window of when he's going to show up. And if he's going to show up in the Rumble, what's his number going to be? I thought it was going to be number 30. Number 3 in the Royal Rumble. Number 3 in the Royal Rumble. And then at this time, Kofi comes out with the New Day, and he has his little moment where he does the miraculous save in the Royal Rumble. And to me, it's a little uninspired. Like, he's got Xavier and Big E outside, and he falls, and he lands on Big E's shoulders. Okay, it kind of lacks a little pizzazz, but I guess I'll take it. And then in the middle of the match, the League of Nations come, attack Roman Reigns. Rusev goes border to border and splashes Reigns through the announce table. And Vince is out there just cheering him on, when he hugs Rusev and like, oh yeah, he's hugging his flavor of the month right there, yeah. And then we had 4 key eliminations that I thought were pretty cool. We had Braun Strowman eliminate the Big Show. Let me put that into perspective for you. Braun Strowman is no small man. Like, Big Show's here, Strowman is about right here. He puts him in this sleeper type hold. To me, it looks like the giant from the Looney Tunes is like, oh look, a little bunny rabbit. I'm going to love him and pet him and call him George. And he throws Big Show over the top rope. And that was great because Big Show has been in the business for way too long and he needs to retire. And then Kevin Owens eliminates AJ Styles. And at first I was like, oh. But then I said, okay, that makes sense. Because Styles could have been eliminated by Kane. He could have been eliminated by The Big Show. The point I'm trying to make is it could have been a lot worse. And we all know coming in that Styles was probably not going to win. So let us just be thankful that Kevin Owens, another indie guy, eliminated another indie guy. And then we got Sami Zayn coming in, and he eliminates Kevin Owens, which is setting up for the future when Zayn gets promoted to the main roster. And then, a few minutes later, Luke Harper absolutely kills Neville with that clothesline. Neville folds completely in half, and then he eliminates him. Like, Luke Harper is just the best. He, like I said, he knows his character to a T. Which then leads me to this point. I think that the Wyatts are going to feud with Brock Lesnar. Probably at WrestleMania. It's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. And if that happens, I would like to see Bray Wyatt win because he really needs this win. Now, I have no problem with Lesnar. I think he's great. But as far as the character goes, Bray Wyatt's kind of looked like a little bit of a jabroni. Promo skills, he's great. In the ring, he's losing to Reigns, he's losing to Ambrose, he's losing to everybody. He's putting everybody over except himself. So, give Wyatts a chance, WWE. Give Wyatts a chance. And then we got number 30, who was Triple H. Triple H comes out there, pours the water on himself. He's looking jacked and stuff. He's like, time to bury some folks. You know, he goes in there, starts beating people up. And then Ambrose eliminates Jericho, who, by the way, Jericho lasted almost 50 minutes in the Rumble, which is a feat in and of itself. And then Sheamus comes out, and Sheamus gets blindsided by Reigns, who was still suffering from the attack by the League of Nations, while he was probably resting up in the back, like drinking a Mai Tai or whatever. But he comes out, attacks Sheamus, goes in there, continues. Ambrose eliminates Jericho, and then Triple H eliminates Reigns, and the crowd just goes nuts. Triple H is crotch chopping, everyone's going crazy, and everyone's just loving this. And then it's down to the final two, Dean Ambrose and Triple H. And you probably know the solution to this formula. Triple H buried Dean Ambrose, and now Triple H is the 14-time WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world. To me, this is kind of a double-edged sword because, one, I'm kind of glad that Triple H is the world champion at least one more time. But at the same time, it's kind of the same old good old boy mentality where it's burying younger stars to promote the older stars. So, as far as Triple H being the new champion goes, the internet's probably going to hate it, or they're just going to be like, that's typical Triple H. The casual fan will probably be like, oh man, that sucks. But in the end, I guess the authority always wins. And that is my review of the Royal Rumble. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to follow me on my social media accounts, I will put all of my links below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.